Hello and welcome to the Hounding Harmony Dog Training Podcast, the show that helps you go from chaos to calm with your dog, one episode at a time. I'm Emily, a dog trainer and licensed veterinary technician, here to give you practical tips, real-life strategies, and the confidence to raise a well-behaved, obedient dog without the overwhelm. Let's jump in and create a calm and connected life with your dog. Today we're talking about how you can stay consistent with your dog's training when life feels really full. It's really hard when you're juggling work, family, and a packed schedule to fit dog training regularly in between all of those things. And I'm going to kind of go through ways that you can start to build the habit without feeling really overwhelmed by it. Dogs thrive on consistency, and even if our dog is what we consider to be fully trained, if we are not constantly keeping up with their training, it's going to chip away and get a little bit sloppier and sloppier. And especially if your dog is younger, it's important to take these steps every day to keep building on the foundations that you have laid so you don't lose progress. When I was in college, I took 20 plus credit hour semesters, and I had 3 dogs that I was training. Granted, this was a part of an extracurricular I was in. I was a part of the stock dog team, but even though I had a prior commitment to be training my dog every day, to be prioritizing their skill building, I still had to be very strategic about how I was going to fit in training in between classes, meals, and other extracurriculars, responsibilities. I was an RA. If you wanted to see busy, you could just take a snapshot of my life. So something I hear a lot is people just don't have time for daily training. When I hear this, I really want to ask, what's your definition of a training session? Because it's probably too long. Most dogs, especially young dogs, they can only do 5 to 15 minutes. And older dogs, they max out for sure at 45 minutes. And if you're starting to feel guilty about not keeping up with your dog's training as of late, I want to encourage you that shame helps no one. It's a signal. We're going to move towards progress in this. We're not going to avoid it because it makes us feel gross. Another really common thing is when you start off really strong because you have this vision, you have this goal, and you just start doing everything all at once, and then life starts to get in the way. It's because we just did too much all at once. We need to take a step back. We need to reevaluate and make changes that are sustainable long term. Again, training sessions do not have to be long and super structured. They can be short and intentional moments that you make time for throughout your day that will be more impactful than if you drug out a training session after your dog is mentally checked out or if you're already frustrated. It is completely possible to make progress with your dog's skills with only 5 to 15 minute training sessions a day, and those small sessions build up that 1% of change. And every 1% goes into the 100%. I feel like a motivational speaker right now because this can be applied to so many areas of life, but it's especially applicable to what we're talking about right now. All right, so you're like, okay, I need to make time, but how do I do that? I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can start adding in short, quick training opportunities into your day without completely turning your life upside down. These are starting points to get you flexing that muscle of training your dog and getting into the habit that then you can start to build on and see more progress because you're dedicating more time to it. All right, number 1, think about your day and find where you can add a 15-minute training session. This doesn't have to be complicated. It could be at lunch break. It could be in the morning before you go to work. It could be in the evening as you're making dinner or waiting for pasta to boil. Now remember, you got a dog, so obviously you need to prioritize their needs and their learning. But also, it doesn't have to be a huge shift all at once. Start small. Their brain, honestly, if they're pretty rusty, their brain can only take starting small. Start small and start to build on it. For me, when I had a young dog that was in the midst of a lot of learning, as soon as I got home from work, I was focused on the pup. I would get them out to go to the bathroom, get some playtime and energy out, and then immediately we would work on our focus goals for that week. And training focus goals, I like to use this with my coaching clients to keep us focused on things that their dog can handle mentally right now without getting distracted with other fun tricks or skills. So we see progress on these habits, these skills, these commands a lot sooner because we're focusing on only 2 or 3 rather than trying to teach them everything all at once. All right, tip number 2. Use habit stacking to start to integrate training into your existing routines. So it's when you pair your new habit with an existing one. So this would look like pairing a simple training behavior like stay, sit, or touch with things that you're already doing daily with your dog. Before giving them their food bowl, have them sit and stay before they just lunge into the food. Another way is to have them practice stay or wait before they go through doorways with you or before they exit their kennel. Another one would be if while you're waiting for your coffee to brew in the morning, you could ask them to do whatever focus commands you're working on right now. Even go as far to leave your training treats on your kitchen counter. What I'm telling you is this can be so simple. Just get a little bit creative and think about where you could fit it. And then as you start to do these things, you can start to intensify the stay and like make them wait a little bit longer or farther away or have them lay down or have them spin. There's so many fun variations. And if you keep changing it up, they won't get into that anticipation, which is when you'll see dogs, they're really excited for a treat. And you say sit, and then they sit, and then they lay down, and then they roll over, and then they spin, all in hopes that eventually you will give them the treat because they did all of the things. That's why we change things up on our dogs, because when they get into anticipation, it can just look a lot like impatience and anxiety. Not that it's not cute and hilarious. My final tip is to start taking them on walks instead of simply letting them run loose in your backyard. One of my favorite things to tell clients to do is to prioritize morning walks or a walk throughout the day, because it is so good for your dog's brain to have that experience of, well, this isn't a super intense training session, but it is practicing the skill of trusting you and of listening to you, because you're not just going to let them walk and drag you around. You're going to have them practicing leash manners. If your dog isn't ready for this, if your dog has no idea how to walk politely on a leash, then this is not where you're going to start. But leash walks are one of the best ways to keep your dog in check with their training. I've seen it in my own life with my dogs. When I was postpartum, I wasn't taking my dogs out for walks. I wasn't really doing any sort of training. So when I felt like I had the energy to get back to that and I wasn't completely enveloped in the newborn bubble, I started taking them out on walks again, and they were rusty. It was a stressful first couple times because I just had to be on them all the time, but that's because we didn't keep up on their training while we were in that time, and that's okay. We know how to get them back on par. It's just easier if we never let it slip. All right, so what are you going to do this week? Which tip are you going to implement? The best time to start is right now. Start small, start manageable, but start. Something that I want to give you to make this journey a little bit more fun, a little bit more satisfying. I have a training tracker that you can print off and write in your current training focus goals so you can see your progress. And it's just a little bit more fun. I encourage using fun pens and colors. Again, I don't want to make you feel guilty. I don't want you to overcomplicate anything. If you're feeling really overwhelmed with these tips, maybe you need to ask yourself if you're doing too much. If you can't find time to do any of these things, take a step back and reevaluate where you are spending your time. Are you saying yes to too many things? Is your life in a really busy season and it'll calm down later? Or are you perpetually overcommitting yourself? Because your dog directly affects your life. They directly affect how much you're able to relax when you get home. It's very important to make time for them so that you can find that harmony in your home and you do reach that point where you no longer have to worry about them or constantly correct them. That's why we are proactive with our training. If you have a young dog, or a dog that just has several issues that you need to curb, remember that you're currently in a building phase and you'll be able to eventually hit that maintenance with your dog, but right now is the time to lock in. You can relax later. Work hard now to relax later. I'll have that training tracker for you in the show notes. I hope it helps, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for tuning into Hounding Harmony Dog Training. If you found this episode helpful, it would mean the world to me if you'd follow the show and leave a quick review. This helps other dog owners find the support that they need too. For more tips, training help, and encouragement, follow me on TikTok and Instagram at HH_dog training, or you can check out the resources in the show notes. Until next time, keep hounding that harmony.